My name is Franklin Cruz. We're going to be going over land development, raw land to massive profit. So here we go. We're going to go right into the training. So if you don't know who I am, my developments have been on the front page of the newspaper before. I sold a property from 1 house to 41 houses, sold to KB Homes. They named the street after me. That's that. And then we've won other awards as well with the city of Lakeland. So pretty cool stuff. Anyway, so now let's get right into it when it comes down to taking raw land and how you actually take raw land and you make a profit from it. So that's what we're going into right now. So get ready. So currently I'm going to go over the items, which is the first thing is raw land. So you've got raw land and you've got a value there. So now with that, this is one stage of value. Now, the other stage, what I have found is you have approvals and entitlements, right? So you have approvals and entitlements. That basically means that you have a conceptual plan. You have an idea of something that you want to do. And now that idea, let's say if it's a business park, let's say it's going to be a residential subdivision, let's say it's going to be apartments. All of these are different items that you could work to get the approvals and entitlements. But to get to this stage takes a lot of studies and it takes a lot of time. You have to figure out, one, is there any kind of wetlands in your area? What they call the buildable maximum square footage. So those are items that you actually want to think about whenever you have raw land. So let me give you an example, right? So you possibly have a piece of land, you're stressed out, you're just like, I don't even know what to do. I know I've got something here. I want to make as much money as possible. I don't know if I want to develop it because I really have never done that before. Or I have done it. It wasn't the greatest time to do it as well because it's super complicated. What do I do? I'm going to go over that with you, and that's exactly what we're going over right now. So just like, for example, recently I talked to a client, a soon-to-be client. His name is Craig. He has a property in Colorado, 6 acres of land, gorgeous property, but he's at the same time, for him, just like I was when I first started, I didn't know what I was doing. So you go through this stage of, I don't know what I'm doing, I have raw land. How do I get it? What is the next stage? What does these stages even look like? And I'm going to go over horizontal, vertical, and other stages as well. But stage 1 to 2, you can make a good profit if you want to just sell your land. But the only thing is, you don't know what's possible. So you've got to know what's possible first. So the same thing, Craig, very smart guy. He has money. He just doesn't know how to get in that right direction. So this is what I'm going over from raw land to approvals and entitlements. So then the key stages that I look at is you've got, again, raw land, approvals and entitlements. Now you have horizontal. Horizontal just means what they call it in the development world, you can go vertical to horizontal, horizontal to vertical, right? So that means you're taking raw land. Now you have it approved and entitled of what you can actually do on that raw land. Now, just for example, like when I had, when I did the 41 units, right? So I took it from 1 house on 9 acres, and then I converted over to 41 houses. It actually was 25 houses, then 39 houses, then 41 houses. And then I had a contract on it, so I actually sold the approvals and entitlements, the value add, to KB Homes that was interested. And then that was a whole entire ordeal because then you've got to negotiate with a $1 billion company and it's only you, right? So you have to figure these things out, which I did. And that's kind of why I'm sharing this now because I don't want other people to be in pain as much as I was because it's extremely expensive if you don't know what you're doing. You don't even know what to look for. You have no idea what to do. And then these huge contracts from a $1 billion company, if you don't watch it, you could actually lose a lot of money and actually make a lot less. So I actually turned down an offer for 2.5 and I took the 1.25 because I actually made more money on the 1.25 than I did the $2.5 million deal with KB Homes. I actually have a masterclass on that on my YouTube channel. If you want to check that out, you can just type in Franklin Cruz Masterclass and it goes over the details of that. So anyway, so now you've got horizontal. Horizontal just means you have the approvals and entitlements, and now you're going to do the build out for horizontal. That means the groundwork, the streets, all the other items dealing with horizontal work, right? Infrastructure. If you've never done it before, I don't recommend it because it could be extremely pricey and it could take years. Development is not short. Best case scenario, it could take 6 months to 2 years. It all matters the complexity of your site. But that's plus or minus. It all matters what you're doing. I mean, remember, development in one development item that you're doing, your life has changed forever when it comes to financially. So that's a huge deal. And that's something that changed in my life because most people don't even realize the profit. So you've got decent profit on raw land, but remember, you have what I call, you have profit and then you have risk. So you've got profit and then you have a risk factor. The goal to me is always, how can I get it to 0% risk or close to zero? How can I get it as close to zero as I can when it comes to risk? And then how can I increase my profitability as much as possible, still leaving a great impact? Like it's a win-win-win scenario for everybody involved, but I decrease my risk and I increase my profit. So what does that look like? Right? So now that's what we're looking at now. So raw land, you've got a little bit of risk, but you're going to have a little bit of profit if you just sell it off like that. Approvals and entitlements, you have not a lot of risk if you already have a buyer. So that means your risk factor, you can bring it down to as close to zero, because if you've got a buyer for something that they want, approvals and entitlements for apartment, subdivision, or light industrial work, now your risk factor is way down to almost zero, right? And then your profit margin can be really high, because this is the hardest part in land. What I have found is the absolute hardest part is taking it from raw to approvals and entitlements, and at the same time too, you're finding a person or a company most likely that actually wants to purchase that, and then you've got to negotiate this in between and have the patience and the capital to go through the whole thing. So then you want to build out the infrastructure, and you potentially want to go vertical, right? So again, raw land to approvals and entitlements, down to horizontal, right? And then vertical. Vertical just means now you're actually building the structure. This is the houses I like, which has butterfly roofs on it. So now that's an item that you could think about. So the secret sauce, though, whenever you're doing this, is one, you've got to get really good at this approvals and entitlements. One conceptual plan, that means the idea that you have, can be $5,000. I was spending $5,000 just for one conceptual plan. And then you have to do a marketing deck to actually start bringing in the buyers. Now, if you want to say, hey, Franklin, I want to do the full build out. I want to take it from raw land. I'm going to work the approvals and entitlements. I'm going to do the horizontal work, and I'm going to build because I want to have legacy cash flow. I want to potentially refinance out, cash out, right? This is your refi. And then you want to 1031, possibly 1031 exchange it, right? And then you want to rinse, what I would call rinse and repeat, right? And then you've got do it again, right? So boom, do it again. I think this is what I meant by this. So now you've got all these steps. This is where you make the profit. Raw land, approvals and entitlements, horizontal or vertical. But then this is your long-term legacy. You want to do cash flow. Do you want to refinance? This is if you want to go these stages. In the beginning, I recommend do this. Build up as much cash as possible. And then once you start building up the cash, then start getting experience when it comes down to horizontal or vertical. My recommendation is when you do that, you actually want to start off small. Take one house, build three duplexes, or build one lot to 3 houses. Then, you can do 1 to 10, because you're going to learn a lot dealing with project management. Finding the GCs alone is going to be very complicated for you. What I have discovered is there's levels of complexity to every area, to every stage. So all these stages have huge complexities. And your goal is to maximize profitability as much as you can. Now, I'm not going to leave you hanging. So if you're watching this and you're still confused, and you're just like, what? I still got something. I want to move forward. I don't know what to do. It's all good. I got this. So I created a consulting, basically I'm consulting dealing with development, because what I found is there's a lot of people with no knowledge dealing with this. And this is so weird holding this. Okay. So I wanted to share this with you. So number one, if you apply for the consulting, with me and I accept you because I got to see what's going on with your property, one, we'll cover the first 2 conceptual plans. So that will save you about $5,000 each. At least that's what I was paying when I hired Kimberly and Horn. And then also we'll do the marketing deck. That should save you about 2 to 3 weeks of stressing out, and knowing exactly how to do it probably save you about a month of doing that. That's the first thing that we'll cover, right? So we'll take care of that if we accept you. If you go to trueinvestors.com, you can apply for it. And then the other thing too, just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. The biggest goal is to show you and give you a strategy on guidance of like, this is how you move in this direction. Like Craig, for right now, we're working on, he's got a business park and possibly a high density residential site that we're working on, right, or that we're looking at. And if we could do that, then we're finding out, okay, who are the strategic buyers that we could sell this project to for as much capital for as much profit as possible, not just capital. So you'll have access to my network because I already have a good network. And so now I could just tie you into that if the deal makes sense. So if this is for you, that you want to position your land, package it right, and get it sold and no guesswork, then great. Don't waste any time. Just go to trueinvestors.com and then apply to click here, and we could talk. So who's this for? I got a script. I just want to make sure I'm not missing it. Who's this for? Anybody in the U.S. If you own land, I know the U.S. pretty well, so I can help you with that. It's 1 acre to over 100 plus acres. I've done master plans before as well, just like I'm working on right now for Pope Parkway. We have 130 plus acres. That's a huge master plan site. 400 plus units, potentially, or 600,000 square feet of industrial space, open store. It's a huge deal. And also, if you're selling a property or selling a piece of land, again, you could go to truefastoffers.com. I only buy in Central Florida, just FYI. But consulting-wise, when it deals with land and development, go to trueinvestors.com. Perfect. I think I got everything. Perfect. Okay, so look, real estate development is complicated. That's only if you don't know what you're doing in the very beginning. Make sure that you take your time, you go through this process, and if I can help you in some kind of way, in a sense of, hey, this makes sense on the consulting side that we can move forward, yes, and a reminder, what's possible is if you just get one great development, the amount that you're going to learn from it will only move from the next project that you're doing and the next project that you're doing and the next project you're doing. When I found this out and I made this discovery, I was like, oh my God, like people really have the opportunity to do very well for their life if they learn this, because it's something that anybody could do. We walk on real estate every day. Now what matters is actually how do we capitalize it, but also we create a win-win for the entire neighborhood as well in your surrounding area. So that means taking that raw land and doing something with it. Development is beyond complicated. That's why you don't see a lot of it. But we need more of it. People only need places to stay. People need better warehousing or business parks. Businesses are moving in to where infrastructure is already there. So hopefully this helps. Again, my name is Franklin Cruz. If you got something out of this, this would be great for the algorithm to like, share it, leave a comment below. That would be fantastic. Or go to trueinvestors.com and we can see what we could do. All right. Bye. I think this is where it's at. Bye.